Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video, I am going to take and show you how to dress or to traditionally dress your anvil edges. So what do I mean by traditionally dressing your anvil edges? Well, to traditionally dress your anvil edges, there's a traditional method that you actually use. And that method generally is followed throughout a lot of your course materials that you might see in a lot of books out there, and they are all usually centered around a London pattern anvil. And this little Vevor anvil is exactly that. It's a London pattern anvil, and so I chose to take and show you how to take and dress the anvil on this little Vevor that we just got in here for the factory edges. So when you get an anvil, your factory edges are going to be super sharp. There might even be some casting burrs or some forging burrs on there, or where they've milled the top flat, there might be some milling burrs up there, and your edges are super duper sharp, like sharp enough that they can cut a glove if you run your hand down on them. And those need to be dressed. Generally, I like to dress my anvil edges as little as possible, and I instruct beginners to do the same, to put no more than about a 1/4 inch radius or less, 1/8 to 1/4 inch of a radius on an anvil if you're just starting out and you don't know which way you're going to be going just yet with your own work. You can always remove more material. It's a heck of a lot harder to put that material back on an anvil edge once it comes off. So I generally recommend for people to keep the dressing of your anvil edges to a very, very minimum if you're just starting out. But the traditional method for dressing an anvil goes as follows. Starting at the horn by the step, you start by making at least as a minimum a 3/8 inch flat. So that means across, so if you picture a 90-degree corner, you grind a 45-degree angle across that 90-degree corner, and the width of that grind is 3/8 of an inch. Roughly. If you were to put a measurement across it, when you make that 45-degree angle, it's about 3/8 of an inch. And then you take and round off everything into that 45-degree angle. And you'll be seeing this on the video of how I go about doing that. So starting at the horn by the shelf, you start grinding in a nice big, thick, heavy radius on your anvil. Then as you progress back to the hardy hole and where the pritchel hole is in the anvil, again talking about a London pattern anvil here, you slowly but surely make it less of a radius all the way back to sharp. At the very back tail, you are sub an 1/8 inch. So that's still fairly sharp, but it's not sharp to the touch. So you're still rounding it off a little bit. It's maybe a 1/16 of an inch radius at the very, very tail. So that's your super sharp edge. And then as you go forward, you get gradually larger and larger radii that you can work with. Now, this kind of method, and the reason why it's become so popular, is because it gives you a lot of latitude with the type of work you may want to do. There's sometimes in forging where you need to keep a good crisp inside shoulder or inside corner to something, say something like on a boss or a set down that you need to make sure that you keep it really good and clean and a nice inside square. If you're doing upset square corners where you have to have a sharp inside corner as well, you need to have that sharp radius, very sharp like you would have at the tail end of your anvil. And then there's other times where when you're forging scrolls, like snub end scrolls or half penny scrolls, there's a lot of other things that you may want to take and have a much bigger radius, especially if you're still like drawing out work and you don't want to start with a sharp radius. You want to take and have a nice big fullered in area or radius. Say like for your tongs, for instance, drawing out the tong reins on your tongs. It might be nice to have a really nice heavy duty radius up near that horn of your anvil for that particular kind of work. So that's how you traditionally grind a London pattern anvil. Now I will go ahead and share with you my preference and the reason why I prefer sharp edges. Now again, preference, underlying preference here. all smiths are different, and you will notice that all master smiths and all professional smiths and anybody who's been doing it any length of time has their own preferences for grinding anvils. The reason why I recommend the sharp edges is as before as I described. If you have sharper edges, you can always remove them and bring them down and make them fit your work. You can't, however, or you can, but with a lot of work and a lot of difficulty, put those edges back, right? You're working with a finite source of material, and the more you grind away, the less you have. So it is my major suggestion, if you're just starting out in this, start with no more than a 1/4 inch radius on your anvil edges and just take off the factory sharp on the way back, and then adjust as you know what you want out of the anvil with the type of work that you're doing. You may find you never need a sharp edge on your anvil, and go ahead and radius them all right off and make them big radiuses. Make the anvil to suit the work that you're doing, and that will fit you personally in your shop. Just like the height of an anvil, the edges, all that has got to be customized to you, the blacksmith, in your own shop and in your own field of study. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I have a ton of great videos all linked up around this Vevor anvil. I have tons of helpful content for you, the beginners out there, intermediate, even advanced smiths. I think we just passed 1,900 videos here on the channel not too long ago. So we've been at this coming up on a decade here come soon. So I think in another 1.5 years or so, we'll be at this for a full decade. So there's a lot of great content here for you to enjoy at Christ Ironworks. I really hope you will. God bless you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.